We have made it to the second round of the college football playoffs here in the last couple days of 2025 as we move on to 2026. Appreciate you joining us. It's prediction time. All right, and Blaine is the only one that's perfect right now. I'm going to go ahead and say that because that's what he's going to say when I kick it over to him. He is perfect. Congrats to him.
Thank you.
He picked Miami. He picked Alabama. Pulled that one out of his ass. That's a story for another day. But hit that subscribe button. We may be at 200K. We already may be at 200K, but we're going to pretend like we're not. All right, because we're already headed for 300K. It's like on the Buddy the Elf movie when they get done with the first Christmas and Santa says to celebrate, we're getting ready for next Christmas. That's what we're doing here at Crain & Company. Appreciate you guys joining us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, keep sharing the show. David Cohn, former Michigan quarterback, Blaine Crain, former Western State, Colorado wide receiver. And, guys, it's pretty obvious the games we're going to be talking about here, but I want to go in order. I want to keep it organized, all right? I want to GM this thing. December 31st, 6:30 p.m. on ESPN. It's Miami and Ohio State. Blaine,
yes.
What is the line on that, my friend?
Right now, the line I am seeing is -9.5 Ohio State. Money line going off for Miami at plus 285. The over-under sitting at 42.5.
Oh, Coney. We watched, Ohio State lost to Indiana. Last time we saw them out, Miami goes on the road. They beat A&M. The physicality level of this game, especially at the line of scrimmage, is going to be absolutely elite. My instant gut reaction feels like 9.5 is a lot of points, but how is Miami going to score? If Carson Beck continues, like Blaine said, to look like a deer in the headlights, David, I'm not seeing a world in which if Miami continues to play like this offensively, they're going to get past 7 points. And I don't think Ohio State's only scoring 3, as good as Miami's defense has been. But it feels like it needs to be a low-scoring game for them to have a chance anyway. So I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I want to repeat what I said in the recap of that game. Congratulations to Miami, who was on the chopping block of not making the college football playoff, to go on the road to College Station and beat a Texas A&M team that had only dropped one game to the Texas Longhorns this year. And again, Fletcher coming on strong at the end of that game, and for them to be able to close the door on Texas A&M by running the football when they haven't run the football that well this entire season, that surprised me even more. They understood what kind of game it was, and they went out and played to win that style of game. Against the Buckeyes, though, the only game they've lost all season is because Indiana's front four was able to get to Julian Sand, make his life difficult in the Big Ten championship game. And anytime you have pass rushers like Bain and Mesidor from Miami, there's always an opportunity that could happen again. Remember, that game ended 13-10. Buckeyes lost to Michigan a year ago, 13-10. There's kind of a recipe if you want to be able to beat this team, because when the Buckeyes start scoring a lot of points, that defense isn't going to give up a lot of points. I don't know if you want me to go ahead and make my prediction, but again,
go ahead, baby. Let it fly. Let it fly. We want y'all to let it fly in the comments. Go ahead, Coney. What do you got?
For similar reasoning as to why I picked Texas A&M, and granted, I was wrong in that one, and Blaine rode with Miami. I just think that the Buckeyes can play a worse game and still come out on top with different paths to victory.
Agreed.
Right? Whether it's a high-scoring game or low-scoring game. I haven't seen Carson Beck turn into the guy that you paid $4 million to get him to transfer from the University of Georgia to be the difference maker and the reason that you win rather than the reason that you lose games. And if he turns the football over, like we said, in their 2 losses this year, 6 interceptions combined, then I think it's going to be a wrap.
Well, and Blaine, we look at what A&M had. Marcel Reed, his ability to move. We saw that early in the game, especially on the first drive, being able to get first downs. But they have Concepcion. They have Craver. They have Bethel Romans. They had some guys that could do it on the outside, and Miami shut their ass down. Now, you had a turnover, right, in the red zone. Is Miami going to have 2 turnovers in this game be similar to A&M for them to have a chance to win? And who do you think wins the football game?
Well, if Miami has a 0 in the turnover column, I don't see how they win this football game. I look at this like this, and one of the reasons why I did pick Miami to beat Texas A&M is because of their front four. When you don't have to take a guy out of coverage to go blitz the quarterback, it's just going to help you that much more in the back end. But the one key to me for Miami, especially in this game, if you're going to win, I think the first thing you have to do is stop the run. You have to stop the run from Bo Jackson in this football game. Go look at Indiana. I believe they only had 58 yards of rushing, and you want to put it all on a freshman, right? And Julian Sand, who, look, he had 260 yards passing in the Big Ten championships. He has weapons out there. You know that, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to pick the weaker of the links, and I think that is Julian Sand, and I'm interested to see because Brian Hartline's not calling plays in this football game. All right, Coach Day is now taking over the offensive responsibilities and play calling for Ohio State. All right, and no matter who it is, I know Coach Day has called plays before, it's going to change a little bit things, the way the operation happens and the way the system works. And it goes back to this. I never thought I'd say this, but I trust Julian Sand a lot more than I trust Carson Beck.
It's not a crazy thing. It's not a crazy thing to say.
I really do. I've seen Julian step up in big moments and deliver passes and look like he's not afraid. He's more hit the gas to the floor than to, hey, make sure my seat's buckled. All right. And I feel like that's who Carson Beck has been this year. And you're not going to live like that and beat Ohio State. You have to risk it to get the biscuit. And I think that's the way that Ohio State's built on both sides of the ball. It's not going to be enough for Miami just to turn around and hand the ball off. And Mark Fletcher averaged 11 yards per carry. So the more I look at this game, the more I like Ohio State, not only to win, but to cover the points as well.
Well, and, you know, I think something you're going to see from Ohio State that you saw a couple times from A&M, not a lot, not nearly enough. I think you're going to get some shots down the field. I don't think they're going to let Miami continue to creep up and creep up and creep up and keep your big runs to 6 to 8 yards. I think you're going to see Ohio State take some shots early, may hit a couple of them when you got guys like Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith. But Miami made Texas A&M be methodical, but Texas A&M decided to be methodical. They decided to try and go 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 plays down the field. I don't think either team is going to be able to run the ball very well, but I do think Ohio State will hit some of those shot plays and take some of those shot plays. And to Blaine's point, I don't trust Carson Beck right now. I don't think Shannon Dawson trusts Carson Beck. That's why I think they ran a trick play every sixth play because they don't trust him to be able to get back there and not immediately go to the check down because he can't really escape. I think Miami's defense shows up, though. I do think they show up. I've got Ohio State winning this game 20-10. 20-10. Okay. I think it's 20-3 late. Miami finds a way to score a touchdown, but I think Ohio State scores a touchdown on either defense or special teams. I think they find a way, and you best believe you can bet your bottom dollar, little orphan Annie, that Matt Patricia's been walking around with a picture of Malachi Toney saying, follow this man. If he goes to the bathroom, you wash his hands when he gets done. So Caleb Downs, that may be his job at the end of the day, to keep Malachi Toney in front of him.
You need C.J. Daniels, man.
Yeah, CJ, somebody else is going to have to make some big plays for Miami. And look, they can. It's not an impossibility, but I like Ohio State to win this football game as well. All right, moving on. Remember, in the chat, make sure you let us know who you have winning. We want you on record. Let's go ahead to the next game in order. January 1st. And again, we've previewed all these games in depth. This is the prediction show, so make sure you go check them out. And Big 12 fans, you know, all I do is hear y'all complain about us never talking about the Big 12. Then I look at the views on our videos, and 2 have 42,000, and we're sitting over here at 18 with Texas Tech. So I don't want to hear it. Watch the video, and then we'll continue to do more. But I'm not going to sit here and beg you guys to watch the videos if you're in the Big 12. ACC's doing their part. Miami's doing their part, so shout out to you guys. But Oregon, Texas Tech, January 1st, 11 o'clock. Blaine, side, total. Yes, my sinuses are a disaster right now. I'm basically fighting Voldemort as we go through this.
It's okay. Right now, this game opened at -1.5, believe. And right now, what I'm seeing, it's -2.5 Oregon. With the over-under sitting at 52.5. Money line going off for Texas Tech. Actually, in the plus money is +105.
Blaine, I'm going to start with you on this one. I think this is the hardest game to pick.
Yeah.
I think without a doubt it's the hardest game to pick. Because I don't know, this game could be 7-3 or 48-45. I look at Texas Tech, I see elite defense. Right? Now, we can talk about the schedule and who they've played or this, that, and the other, but then I look at Miami and the way they, punked A&M, I'm like, it makes you kind of rethink some things when you look at conference scheduling. I just, for some reason, my gut is telling me I trust Dante Moore and Oregon offensively more than I do Morton and Texas Tech. Do you agree with me there?
Who do you trust more defensively? That's the question to me.
It's Texas Tech. I think that one's easier. I trust Texas Tech more, but I know Dante Moore, and we'll see how the injury situation is for Oregon when you look at the rest of the skill players. There's a reason it's a pick 'em. I'll wait till after you to make my pick, and then we'll throw it to Cone. But just again, elite side of the ball, Texas Tech defensively, right? Not that they can't score on offense. I love Dickey, Williams, some of the guys they have, but I look at Oregon. Is Oregon the more complete team without an elite side of the ball? Like, does that make sense? Is that a better way to put it?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're trying to put down, but I will say this. There's a couple things I look at in this game. You remember, I mean, if you've seen our prediction videos, I picked Oregon to win the national championship. Don't feel as good about it now as I watched James Madison get 500 yards against them. That's a story for another day. I trust Dante Moore a lot more than I trust Baird Morton. I really do, from a skill standpoint, from a passing standpoint, from a not turning the ball over standpoint. But I trust Texas Tech's defense, especially front seven, more than I trust a Dan Lanning coach defense in year 4.
Which is crazy.
Which is insane. Insane to me to say. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game, not only offensively, but I think both these defenses are going to create turnovers. Special teams are going to be big. Look, I wouldn't be surprised to see Jacob Rodriguez with a pick 6 or a fumble recovery or some big moment. But the reason I'm leaning towards Oregon, because I think if it gets into a rat race, if it gets into a shootout, which I think this game is going to do, I trust Dante Moore and the Oregon offense more than I trust Texas Tech's offense. A couple things on that. One, I think Texas Tech is a really good football team, a great football team. I respect Joey McGuire. The best team you played on your schedule was BYU, and they can't throw it to me from here to Jake. Okay, and I think you're really good, especially stopping the run. But
I mean, you are in Dallas. That's a pretty long throw.
I don't think you've seen the talent that Oregon has, that Texas Tech has seen this year, or the speed yet. So that's the big worry when it comes to me. But I think it's going to be an extremely close game. That's why the spread is what it is. But I'm leaning Oregon, and I like the over as well.
Again, this one. Here's why I'm picking Texas Tech. Here's why. Because Oregon, I think their best side of the ball is offensively. Would y'all agree with that? Yes. I think their offense is their best side of the ball. Okay. So their best side of the ball is going up against Texas Tech's best side of the ball. And Texas Tech, regardless of schedule, and Blaine, look, Oregon's schedule at points has been tougher than Texas Tech. You'll get no argument from me. But I know what I'm looking at when I watch guys run around on defense. And I think the front 7 of Texas Tech is so disruptive. And we've seen some cracks in Dante Moore at some points. I think he's the most talented quarterback left, if we're going to be honest, if he puts it all together. But it seems like Texas Tech's defense is able to make incredibly crucial plays at incredibly crucial moments. And they don't just turn you over. They turn you over in your territory. They turn you over and go score. So then I look at Texas Tech's worst side of the ball going up against Oregon's, and I say worst because it's not as good as what I think they're best. Oregon's defense going up against Texas Tech's offense. I think Texas Tech can move the ball and score enough to give that defense enough buffer room to win this game. David Cone, give me Texas Tech. I'll take Texas Tech. Give me 34-31. I think it's a high-scoring game. I
don't even know who I'm picking as I start my sentence here right now. I've gone back and forth on this game.
Makes
I was
it fun.
telling you guys this a week ago. It's not every day you see a matchup where literally anything could happen and it wouldn't surprise me. I could see a neck-and-neck game high-scoring, neck-and-neck low-scoring. I could see one of these teams, I could see either team running away from the other one, even though that would be a little bit more surprising. Both have had incredible seasons. I came in ready based on the way that Dante Moore has progressed throughout the back half of this season. I came in ready to pick Oregon, but you know what? The last second, I'm going to go guns up. I think Jake's won me over here. The boys from Lubbock, Texas Tech, figuring out a way. I'm so excited for this ball game.
I'd love to keep staying undefeated.
Yeah, but no, Blaine feels great backed in a corner right now. He's done nothing but fight his way out twice, even though Cone did pick Alabama too as well, which gets us into our next game. This is also January 1st. This one's at 3 p.m. I'm going off I believe this is Eastern time on ESPN's website I'm looking at. I may be wrong. At the end of the day, we'll all figure it out. This is also on ESPN. Alabama going up against the powerhouse of college football. Yeah. Indiana. Who'd have ever thought we'd say that? Blaine, give me the side. Give me the total.
Right now, I'm seeing Indiana -6.5. The over-under started at 49.5. It is sitting at 48.5 with what I'm seeing. Alabama money line going off at +200.
Cone, what say you? Bama, Indiana.
I did pick Alabama against Oklahoma. I like their chances to go avenge that regular season loss, even though everything was going against them. And picking Oklahoma was made a lot of sense for a lot of different reasons. You said 6.5, Blaine. Is that still what it's at right now? I don't like the 6.5. That seems like a really big number, especially with Stephen Daly. We talked about him, the defensive lineman for Indiana, going to be out, and how many problems that he caused for Julian Sayin there in the Big Ten championship game. Have we heard about Indiana's receiving core? Are they getting those guys back?
Man, I've got it.
I'm check.
Here's the thing. Signetti's smart. He's not going to let you know. Like, they're going to play this close to the vest. I know you have to do the injury reports and things. I'm going to assume they're playing, David.
Well, Omar Cooper Jr. obviously went out in that Big Ten championship game. They were still able to beat an undefeated Buckeyes team. There's just something about this team of destiny with Kirk Signetti and the Indiana Hoosiers that I really like. I don't like the 6.5 points, but I'm going to take Indiana to win the football game.
All right, Blaine. Bama, Indiana, what do you got?
I think I'm going to update. I'm pretty sure the receivers for Indiana are mostly going to play, especially Omar Cooper Jr. I will say this. If Kalen DeBoer wins this football game, there's going to be nothing you can tell him. Nothing you can. He'll rule. He'll run that city of Tuscaloosa. He'll be the owner of Tuscaloosa at that point. I don't know why, but I've been racking my brain and trying to figure out how Alabama would win this football game. Because I don't think there's a lot of ways. Look, I think Alabama's running game somewhat got a little bit better against Oklahoma. You're not going to be able to beat Indiana with just a one dimension on your offense. But at this point, it'd almost be a waste of plays to go out there and try to run the ball against Indiana. So what is really the strategy for Alabama offensively? Do you try to get the run game going, or do you just come out there and empty? You give it to your best player and Ty Simpson and say, hey, man, just go try and win this game, but you're going to have to shoot 90% from three. I just think where Indiana is right now and Kirk Signetti sitting at the number one team in the nation, being so balanced on both sides of the ball, being so fundamental, I think the way that they're built, the transformer that they built, are built to take down teams like Alabama, who just come out there and it's flash and really no substance. I think Fernando Mendoza is that damn good in this offense, and that's the reason why he won the Heisman. I'm going with Indiana. I think Alabama is going to cover, but a one-dimensional football team doesn't make it past these type of games.
And look, you guys all bring up some great points. You look at Indiana, it's funny that they're one of the few teams that don't beat themselves. I think they may not have the most elite offense, the most elite defense, but there is a beauty and an eliteness within knowing who you are, playing within who you are, and not letting the other team beat you. Most teams lose games. They don't win them. Go look at the previous game that Alabama played in against Oklahoma. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Alabama. Valiant comeback, valiant effort. Hell, I picked them to win the national title before the season, so it didn't hurt my feelings too bad that they came back and won the game. But when you talk about Alabama's lack of ability to run the ball, I think they found something at the end of the Oklahoma game. I think they got a little more confident at the end of the Oklahoma game with Daniel Hill getting downhill. And when you look at and I know there's way more than one guy that plays on Indiana's defense, but that Stephen Daly injury, when Alabama, all they've heard about is they can't run it, you're not tough enough up front, this, that, or the other, Ty has to do it all by themselves. I think Bama finds some success running the ball. I think Bama's defense, at the end of the day, which if you go back and watch that Oklahoma game, they did do some really good things, is as talented as the players that Indiana has on the outside. And you can do some man coverage. You can do some zero coverage. You can bring some heat at Fernando Mendoza. And this Alabama team, Oklahoma walked out with hoodies that said hard to kill. Well, Florida State killed them the first game, but they didn't die. They made the college football playoff. Georgia beat their ass to death in the SEC championship game, but they came back and went on the road and beat a team that they lost to the past 2 years in a hostile environment with 50 Cent coming out in the fourth quarter. I think Bama's hard to kill. I think Kalen DeBoer is the silent assassin. He doesn't shoot you while you're eating at an Italian restaurant. He poisoned your food before you showed up because they knew what you wanted, and you're dead halfway through the cannoli. So I'm going to go with Alabama here. I'm going to go with Alabama beating Indiana. Ty Simpson's been knocked out, back destroyed and still found a way to win games. I'm going to take Alabama. I'll stand alone on that.
Preseason pick alive there.
Yeah, they're my preseason. Look, I'm going to ride. We'll see.
I'll tell you
we'll
this,
see.
though. Blaine said if Kalen DeBoer wins this game, they'll make him mayor. I'll tell you this, if he loses this game, all of the Alabama fans beating their chests that Kalen DeBoer didn't leave for Michigan, all of them are going to say, man, I wish he left for Michigan, which is, it's a good thing the fans don't make the decisions.
Yeah, that's why it's short for fanatical.
I will say this.
Go ahead.
I will say this. As much as Alabama got their run game going against Oklahoma, you averaged 1.1 yard a carry. 1.1 yard.
But you got it when you needed it, though.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess. I mean, you hit one, but I promise you, if you think you're going to do that against Indiana, and Kalen DeBoer might be a silent assassin, but Kirk Cignetti is John Wick. Okay, like you think Kirk's not ready for this moment? This is everything he's been waiting for his entire life. Number one in the country, you beat Ohio State. There's no way you go down to a team that can only do one thing with one trick, and everybody knows the magician's trick, so it's not even a trick anymore.
Well, we'll see. Again, we want to know in the comments, who are you taking, Indiana, Alabama? And last, but definitely not least, we got a rematch. It is Ole Miss and Georgia. This is also January 1st. The late game, 7 p.m. on ESPN. Blaine,
yeah,
how big of a favorite is Georgia here?
Right now, I'm seeing Georgia is still at -6.5. It's going off at -115. Money lane a little bit there. Over under at 55.5. That opened at 56.5. Money line for Ole Miss at +195.
And the line is what?
-6.5 Georgia.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And we did a full preview on this one, a real deep dive. You need to go check that out on the channel. Blaine, we've seen this movie before. And it was Fast and the Furious 7, right? People were just driving off bridges in foreign countries and somehow landing. It's all about family. You know this. When I look at this game, we talked in the preview, I think the odds of Ole Miss, with Kirby getting a second bite of the apple, to be able to recreate that offensive success. Again, they scored on the first 5 drives? Something like that?
Yeah,
like touchdowns, not field goals. Yeah. I believe it was touchdowns. I feel like it's going to be harder for them to recreate that than it will Georgia, who also moved through Ole Miss's defense like hot butter.
Yeah, it's just, obviously not every game is going to be like the same when they played the first time. And
for sure.
Lane Kiffin
Unless it's Tulane Ole Miss, then it was basically exactly the same.
I guess. Yeah, Lane Kiffin is gone. All right, so I'm going to be interested to see the dynamic and the approach to fourth downs in this football game, especially the closer you get to midfield, how Charlie's going to handle that. But sooner or later, this Ole Miss defense is going to have to step up and find a way to stop these guys. Like Georgia, the way Georgia is built, styles make fights, is Ole Miss it's your weakness. Georgia is going to line up in 22 personnel, okay? And they're going to say, bring us your biggest warriors, all right? And we're going to bring ours, and then you're going to try and stop us, all right? They ran for almost 300 yards. They ran for 230 against Ole Miss. They had time of possession. Ole Miss had no turnovers, only 4 penalties, went 5 for 9 on third down, 1 for 2 on fourth down, right? You only rushed for 90 yards, but you threw for, almost 300, and you still found a way to lose this game when you played perfect. It's like one of those things. Sometimes you can go out there and shoot 8 under, but you look up and Tiger Woods is -11. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. So Pete Golding, look, you're the head coach of this football team. All right. You are a defensive-minded guy. You have to find a way to disrupt the flow of this running game when it comes to Georgia. You're not going to beat me with the running game. I want Gunnar Stockton to sit in that pocket and beat me with his arm. And if he can do that, then that's probably the best chance you get. But I'm worried about the physicality of Ole Miss, which I don't think there is enough. And I go back to kind of what me and David always talk about. Ole Miss can come out here and play their A+ game and lose by 10. Georgia can come out here and play their B game and win by 10. And so I'm still sticking with Georgia in this football game. I just think the way that they're built is not good for Ole Miss.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Blaine. I'm going to take Georgia in this one for pretty much all the reasons you listed, and it kind of feels like Cone that if this is basketball, Ole Miss can run and shoot, but Georgia's just got a 7-footer in the post that's dunking on everybody. They can always go back to that run game, and at the end of the day, regardless of how the game is going, if you can run the ball, you can control the outcome. I just like Georgia, and I like Georgia big in this one.
Ooh.
Man, what I would give to lose a golf tournament to Tiger Woods, because he shot 11 under and I shot 8 under.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll know
we would
that
call
one
you
day.
David Duvall.
Man, picking Georgia to beat Ole Miss is the most boring pick in the world, and that's how Georgia likes it. Nice and boring. Nice and boring. We don't care as long as there's a W at the end of the day. Right, Blaine?
Yeah. Can I say something real quick? Is it just me? There hadn't been a lot of Georgia winning the national championship talk out here. I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, not
I
as
heard
much as there usually is.
Hey.
Oh, I know you picked them, Dave. Ohio State, right? Oregon, look at their
Here
path.
they come.
While Darth Vader is sitting over there just waiting.
It's perfect for Kirby.
Waiting. They
Yeah.
feel like they're an alligator, a crocodile in the Amazon, and they're just waiting for you to get close to the shore. Oh, yeah, you're safe. You're safe here. Don't worry about it. Next thing you know, you're underwater.
Well, look, I hope we're in for a great football game, especially
hope
for
so,
those
too.
Ole Miss players that after all these weeks and weeks of distractions and your head coach who recruited you left for another team within your own league, you make the college football playoff. You beat up on Tulane, a team who you beat in the regular season. Congrats to those players. I hope they show up and really make this competitive, and I think they can do that. They have the squad, and we saw that the first time around this year. It's just, to me, if we're talking about odds and probabilities, you're talking about an Ole Miss team who was up on Georgia at halftime with Lane Kiffin, came out and extended that lead in the third quarter with a big 55-yard or whatever touchdown, and then you lose by giving up 17 points in the fourth. Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs are built for the second half. They're built for the fourth quarter of games. They're built for the biggest moments, and I think the Georgia Bulldogs will roll.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I hope they're all fantastic games. They're fantastic matchups in different ways. Should be more elite in full as opposed to what we had in the first round with the two blowouts. But again, let us know. We want your predictions for each game. Make sure you're subscribed. Let's get past that 200K mark. We appreciate you being here. Anything else you guys want to add before we get out of here?
Not really. Hope you had a Merry Christmas. Man.
Yeah, I hope everybody out there has a happy new year as well, and everybody stays safe. And like the chances of us not being fired up about watching the second round, we're gone.